This meeting is being recorded.
Zoom's very dramatic about this.
Yeah, that's very dramatic.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I was saying, to have a finished product where there are two students or two groups of students or two classes full of students where they're collaborating to create an end product. You know, some kind of written or video or audio product. You know, just something that they'd really want to create together. And then have like guidance, you know, from their teachers, and then maybe also somebody from like the greater Storypal community or Storypal staff. I know that's like a very general idea, but I think, you know, working together toward like a finished product really gives, you know, a reason to be improving your language skills. I mean, now when I pitch Storypal to, you know, students or, you know, colleagues or schools, like I'm talking about, okay, you get the writing practice and you get friendship. But, you know, a response that I get a lot is, well, there are a lot of ways for people to form friends online, and there are a lot of ways to practice writing online. But I don't think there are a lot of ways for people in different countries, you know, kids in different countries to be collaborating toward finishing a product together.
Mhm. So that would be sort of, if could you maybe like, if you in your words say the pain point or like something that is missing now, that is the last part, that there aren't that many places where the kids can collaborate to make something or do something.
So I think that, you know, uh, just naturally, especially for kids, it's much easier to collaborate when you're in person. But, you know, we have like in the work world, like so often, you know, as adults, we're working with each other online. Um, and, you know, like, of course, the pandemic just sped that up. So you know, I think if kids, one, that they're part of really brainstorming the project together, you know, I think that can be tough, especially if it's, you know, like more people are involved. But, you know, I think that the project should be focused on like bringing something either to a very local community, like exactly where the kids are living, you know, their town or city or part of their city, or just something where like people globally can benefit from that. But you know, even if it kind of has like a global appeal, like focusing on like a certain um, kind of audience, you know, like maybe middle schoolers who are planning to travel abroad to a certain region, and it like helps them. You know, I think it should be some kind of project that like kids are making for kids.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Maybe
I don't
some
have like a well-developed idea. It's just
Oh,
like a
I
very
wanted
general
to
idea.
I actually wanted to collaborate on that, if you don't mind. Eleni, who was supposed to join today, she and I were having similar conversations. So basically, she kind of said the same things as you have, that we do work in a more digitized place. It's going to be more and more like this. The students do have to learn to collaborate with each other online when they do join some type of work environment or whatever they do in the future. It's going to be a lot of these types of phone calls. They also have to learn to collaborate with people that are in different cultures, different ethnicities internationally, you never know. And one way we were thinking about it is because she has a science teacher in Ohio that's interested in doing some type of project with Storypal, but also with a teacher in Korea or wherever. So two science classes coming together, but they didn't want to practice writing, and they didn't really want to be like international friends. Like the main goal for them was to, they're very passionate about science, and so they wanted their students to learn how science is used in other countries, or what kind of projects you could do with someone else, and how they've learned about science in their, I'm using science very loosely here, so how they've used science and education somewhere else, and how the students have been impacted by that, to do a science project together and have that be something they work on for a couple of weeks, and then have it be displayed on Storypal somewhere. That would be something that they thought would be useful for their students. So I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I find this idea very interesting. Yes, I think it would be cool. I also think that project-based approach would be great, especially for maybe like high school students. Maybe we can even try to do like a small scale MVP for free. Maybe we can try to get some students from different regions and try to check. Maybe just to try realize maybe a couple of project ideas. For example, if high school student wants to build kind of become a businessman in the future, and they can come together and try to create MVP plan for the common, like how you say that, project, MVP project. So I think the goal would be not really to implement that project in the future, but to come together, brainstorm, and come with a common solution. Maybe they can target one. They say they have to find some issue that they want to work on. Maybe business idea that would help, like I don't know, this community, or maybe some of their friends or something like that on the small scale. And then they can find business or social business solutions and try to find what kind of impact, so that they have a logical flow in their head. So if there is an issue, there's this kind of different solutions, and this can bring this kind of results, something like that. So, and I think it would be great, because I also believe that in the future we will have to work more in the teams. There will be more project-based approach in the work settings. So maybe I'm not sure about middle school, but high school students, I think it's quite approachable, because last time we did one MVP and it was with high school students, and the girl came up. It was not a teamwork, but the girl with her mentor, with the help of her mentor, she really made the presentation quite thorough. She had the idea of creating her, how would you say that, like a book cafe, and she had a concept. So she came up with more specific concept of the book cafe she wants, what kind of spaces she wants to have inside. And she did like, how you say that, analysis of competitors, something like that. So a mentor taught her a bit how to do that. And so I think if there would be mentors for each team, if it's a business idea, then a mentor who is more knowledgeable about business, they give some guidance, and then they try to bring, and you can see what it brings. Because I remember our mentors from SKA Foundation, they always say it's not important, the idea itself. Sometimes we are stick to our solution, and it's not really the idea of the social project which is important, but the team. And I think you have a great team. So the idea can change. So you have to be flexible about that. If it's something you see doesn't work, you just prototype test all the time. So maybe, yeah, I like that idea about like the projects for, and it's true, maybe sometimes we need some the goal and the result. That's, I think that's how sometimes we work when, if there are no tests, sometimes we are too lazy to prepare. It's, I don't know, the university. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was just agreeing.
So your story can go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, because I'm reading this book called Atomic Habits. So I read for like 20 minutes a day. And it's true, like the reward, your brain does need that reward when you do an action, because if you don't have that, then it just doesn't really have a motivation. So I was just agreeing with you.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, kids are just naturally more, at least a lot of the time, short-term thinkers. So I
Yeah,
think, they need that short-term reward,
yeah,
just like more often than we do. Like the idea for a middle school student for them to be working on a project that they'll be, like have a final product at the end of the year is like too much. But I think if I mean, I think the first thing is, like the brainstorming, but then it's to like align on a goal. And, I think like one of the things that's really missing, I mean, usually in education, you have students who are the same age and are working with one another. But I mean, like when I was in high school, I was in a youth group where there were, people who were actually eighth grade through 12th grade. And I think that was one of the most valuable things, like even
Mm.
in like sports music also, and I was just working in those activities with people who were 3 or 4 years older than me, and I think that was just a huge help. I was trying to get something like that going back in my school in the States, and it didn't get going after
Mm.
several discussions over several months.
Mm.
But yeah, there's a little bit of that at the school where I now teach full time, JAIS. But like the Socratic experience has like a lot of that happening, and I think you see like a lot of positive effects. Also, I'll say there's also a lot of growing pains with that, because it's just not the kind of thing that students in schools are used to doing.
Right. The age system is, I think, maybe the most not talked about product of the like a modern education system. I actually recently went to the Conhee Lee's art collection thing. So Conhee Lee is the founder of Samsung, and he collected a lot of the modern artwork in Korea. So like artwork from 1930s and some Korean modern artists. And I saw, these arts where the artist was 13 and she joined the artist network. And she had this art piece that was, very, very sensational. And so it makes, but that's not the only case. And before, the age was kind of lower. Also, the expectation was higher for the lower age because we had shorter lifetime expectation. So at age 16, the Korean people got married. And so like this age concept really changed, because now we think of 16 and we think of it as babies. And I do think that I was baby when I was 16. Maybe I'm still baby, I don't know. But I mean, if we get older, maybe like 30 will be now later considered like, 30 is no nothing. Yeah. So, but age system is really interesting. So I wonder how, I wonder how it will change, I guess, like change from going from really age by age organized to, are we going to
Mhm.
change that? I wonder. Yeah. Because it seems
Mhm.
like many things are happening like that. Before it was like, yeah, we have to be like organized. Everybody has to focus on one thing. But then now it's like everybody has to know a little bit of everything and able to communicate diversely and think diverse perspectives. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
I think if you look at like an 8-year-old student versus like an 18-year-old student, you know, an 8-year-old student doesn't care really all that much about what's not right in front of them, right? Like that's kind of like their curiosity. But an 18-year-old student, I think, cares a lot about things just beyond their immediate, surroundings. And
Mhm.
and so, because of that, they have this desire to change things and contribute, I think, to things that are outside of their immediate surroundings, like meaning really like their school. Um, and I think that's why like so many like teenagers, like they are really excited by like their part-time jobs and their volunteer work. I mean, I've heard so many, their eyes really light up when they talk about those things. Um, and they don't when they talk about, the things that they're doing in their classes. Um, so, I think like that desire to like contribute, that can be done, I think, through like you know, cross-cultural, global collaboration kind of, um, you know, project or system.
Do you guys think that like trying to have these teenage students have more exposures to that, or trying to, in a way, because the education system is like they may not have the choice, and so if it's a program, then they have to, in a way, do it. And so I wonder if these things are just is better for the university students, or if it does matter for the younger, then um, why? And yeah, I guess in terms of implementation, what kind, I think it goes back to what Anastasia was talking about. How is question, like how is the best way to do that? Yeah.
So I think about the model a lot of practice and performance. Like there will be some time when, after you've learned these skills and created this work, that, you have to share it publicly,
Mm.
hopefully with like a community outside of your class. And, make the argument that, this is something that would be like beneficial for you to adopt this idea, or partner with us in some kind of way. Um, so yeah, I think that like giving them that goal of, okay, we're going to present this work, and this work is intended for this audience outside of our class, like a lot of times like does, just it makes students internally motivated, I think, like to do a good job. They, you know, eh, they don't only just like want a grade for their work, but like they really want their work to be good for other people who will listen to their project presentation or read their work. I see that as like a big issue in education, where kids are just creating things for people inside of their classroom, um, peers or teacher.
Yeah, sometimes these days I sometimes wonder, just having them, like requiring them to make their own website is the best solution sometimes. Yeah, because with the website, they really have to think about like both technical design and also the content, and it's their own thing, and it's their own channel, and yeah.
And then, I mean, they're creators, right? And I think, most people online in most places are consumers, but like
Mhm.
if you get people creating, I mean, then I mean, I think it's more fun ultimately, even though sometimes it's, tough to create something that's good, and a lot of times you just create work that's, mediocre or even bad. But, it gets students in the habit of like, okay, this is what I made, and this is what I share, and this is what like has value for other people, and this is what can be good for people in my community, whether that's, local, national, global, whatever.
Mm. So in a way, you are with the Socratic experience. In a way, you're seeing that, right? That's being implemented.
Yeah, like we do have that going on. I think I just being like part-time, I don't have a great idea about like everything that's going on with like all students. But I have students who are like taking on projects through my personal finance class that like they're brainstorming, and they're like teaching different personal finance topics to people their age. They're like building things in Excel
Mm.
that they use and that other people will use. They're really getting to know different industries for, financial products that they want to be purchasing, a lot of times once they turn 18. Or making decisions about who they'll be banking with, and giving like other people the tools to make a better decision, like those kind of things like I am seeing. And like I think it's great that it's they're making something that they're going to be using outside of class.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that would be really interesting if like what you're saying, like having project part of it also includes those peer-to-peer mentoring, and it becomes I'm not sure how important it is that it has the component of globalization of that network. But if it does, then I think it would be interesting because, right, like as pen pals, there's limits to how in-depth they talk about certain discussion. That's something that I always felt a little bit of it's missing something too. Yeah. So it's good to be friends and connect, but then maybe as a student, as a learner, yeah, we do need to look at these things. It's funny because in the beginning we were really against sort of these things, and we just wanted to focus on helping them talk casually. Yeah, yeah. So cycle of life or something like that, or karma, I don't know. But yeah, I see that because yeah. Mhm. Maybe like Anastasia, since you're thinking of starting the new project or pivoting or something like that, like what do you think?
I actually remember that once you asked me about internship or volunteering position at some organizations, if I know some organization who would like to accept some students, high school students. And I was thinking at that moment, I remember I had a click because I had similar idea, but with the university students though. But still, I was thinking, would you like to, I wanted to ask you if you would like to try to outreach, to build a network of this kind of organizations. So because I think if you link for example, experience of high school students, let's say it would be more comprehensive, like what Jeff says, to create like project-based approach, and also link to, for instance, if they have some idea, they want to, how you say that, they want to have some tests about that, and they need the organization where they can try it, or maybe even for short term, and then you can have this kind of organization, you have a network. So for me, the main idea was to help university students to create for them more opportunities, so they also test their skills in organizations, as volunteers or interns for short term. And I wanted to start outreaching partners, but a bit later this year. So if you would like to go into that direction, maybe we could combine forces and try to make a network. And I think this would look, because what I've noticed also with younger people, they're quite more interested in, really, it was, I think, what Jeff says, in experiences. like kind of events, even if it's short term, but something that can shift their mindset. And if we can create this kind of experience for them, I think, and create for them that network, these opportunities, this would be great. That's why I'm not so much believing in university admission anymore so much. I'm more believing in this kind of experiences. And it's true for many students, they do not know where to search for this. They do not know what opportunities are there. They don't know from where to start. And I saw it this time with our MVP, with the college, with the university students, even third and fourth grade. Sometimes they just don't know, even if they live in Korea for some years, they still don't know how to do that. So first, they don't have the skills, the skills. And second, I think there are not so many opportunities exist maybe out there for them. Some of the, positions are either hidden or, it's very difficult to know what is there. So if we could make a link with that, I guess it could be quite useful and also attractive for if later you're still considering of monetization or somehow make it more financially sustainable. I think this idea would be more attractive for both, for all the sides.
Sumbo?
Oh, I like the idea. It's really good.
So on that note, then, what should do you guys have a suggestion what Storypal could do, sort of a small task or action? It could be changing a bit of a function or adding something new, or
My suggestion would be to like reach out to, you know, maybe a dozen students who are really involved and on the platform, and like ask if you were to work on a project with other people you know on the platform, what would you do? And then, kind of maybe either try and match like, students one-on-one or like in small groups, and just do like small test projects, and, kind of like see how they work, and, what's kind of needed from the teacher or mentorship side, kind of evaluate their effectiveness with a bunch of kind of small tests.
on this one, uh, what does the teachers, what role, I guess, does their teachers play? And technically, because we are sort of like a small community, we could reach out to the students individually, but also at the same time, technically, we don't connect with the students directly, but the teachers or their guardians. So what do you suggest in this? Talk to teachers, or
I think you can have, each teacher or guardian, like put forward one student, kind of start, I think, with like I don't know if this is the right term, but like an all-star group of students, right? Um, and, like from there, just see, who do you think would be a good guide, to, facilitate this, give some guidelines, like this is what would be like almost like a rubric. This is what we'd want for a good final project. This is what we're expecting from the timeline. And then I think like the guardian, really helps the students to make sure that, their project does meet, maybe these 5 basic things for what you would consider a good project. that it has an impact in the community, that it consists of some type of presentation at the end, that it's, using English at a certain level, that, everybody is involved in creating something for the project, or whatever you think would be good criteria.
Mhm. I think this would be actually become more relevant because now the conventional assignments like the writing, these things just went into the past because of the chat GPT, right? I heard America is getting crazy because students are using that to submit like essays. So now maybe it's like we do have to go into the next dimension, which is like those skills are tools, literally tools, and students have to do something on it instead of like learning how to just write. 'Cause now ChatGPT. But at the same time, in order to use ChatGPT, you have to be able to tell ChatGPT well, right? So I guess literary
Yeah.
skill still relevant.
I mean, I think like, just like Google searching is a skill, like,
Right.
using ChatGPT is a skill, like inputting the right, information or question so you
Mhm.
get that output that you
Mhm.
want.
Mhm.
But, I think like really good projects are
Mhm.
things that, you can't just use information on the internet for.
Mhm.
You've identified like a real problem, and a problem that like affects you or like people who you care about, and then you've, formed a solution, you've communicated the problem and the solution well, like those kinds of things. I think, like chat gbt and like Google search can help, but it, requires a certain creativity that you can't get just from information, from ChatGPT or Google.
Mhm. Right. And like things that you have said, I feel like it's all true, but I don't know if this we are best suited because it's sort of in your head. And so if I may ask, like how can we help people maybe just you to test this idea with Storypal or something like that? Because I think Anastasia also has the idea, and because that's sort of who's that? I think that is from Uganda. So,
It's Eleni, I think.
oh, Eleni. Oh, okay. Elise also is the L, so. Oh, Eleni, it's Eleni. Hi, Eleni. Yay. Good to see you.
Hi.
You're on
Yeah,
mute.
yeah. Oh, so we have to catch up on the discussions that we were having. We had pretty deep discussions. Yeah.
Excited to catch up. Sorry, I was on.
Yeah, so we were basically, okay, I'll try to summarize quickly. So we were talking about how Storypal could become more must-have, more helpful for the community in the long run. And so Jeff suggested like at the end of the year or at the end of some milestone, like it helps students to have a project that they sort of collaborate on together and then able to share to a certain audience that is outside the classroom. And here Anastasia, I think you meet her for the first time, and she's working with Russian, Korean, like Korean students who are fourth generation in Russia. So in Korea, to help them sort of like dream bigger and get skills that's needed for them to kind of expand their careers. And so we were discussing about how like some ideas what Circle could do together. And then just as you come in, what I was saying was there's many good ideas, and it would be great if we could, like, if Storypal, currently me, Sambul, and this new volunteer developer, like able to just like really build and test and quickly, but the ideas, us doing this is kind of hard. And so we have to kind of ask and get help. And so how can we help by getting help? So basically I was saying, how can Storypal help teachers like Jeff, like maybe implement these ideas, and Anastasia also have ideas, and you also have, because someone also mentioned that you guys were talking about the science teacher and science project, and yeah, so there are many like things, and that's because, and we were also saying like these things will become more relevant, whereas before it was considered as maybe they can do that when they start working, but now like ChatGPT is there, so now they have extra tool and they need to learn how to use this tool, and the ability to work with diverse people and sort of work on projects, and these things become more important. So all these ideas are going to be probably more relevant, but at the same time it has more faces than just teaching literacy, just teaching how to write, just teaching how to, I guess, get some skills, because it's sort of multi-dimensional skills we're talking about. So yeah, that's where we are. And so how could Storypal sort of accommodate to these things and become more helpful?
That's really amazing. So yeah, one of the, I don't know if some like kind of talked about the science stuff. I guess she did, but yeah. So one of my teacher friends here is a science teacher, and I know a couple of science teachers over in Washington. And I think one of the things that might be important for Storypal is to get with these teachers kind of during their planning period, like during summertime, because a lot of the teachers, they're so excited about Storypal. Like just the one that I was talking to about the science project, he's like, wow, that sounds really amazing. He's like, but it seems like we don't have time right now. So I think it's important to kind of meet them like before they start making their plans for the year, because that way Storypal, they're not just seeing it, because unfortunately school is so busy these days, where it doesn't leave a lot of time for creativity. I don't know about Jeff and Anastasia, I don't know how it is over where you are, but in the US, like unfortunately, like there's not a ton of time for creativity sometimes because they're teaching standardized testing. So if a teacher doesn't know about something like early on, it's hard for them to kind of incorporate it into their curriculum. But if they know, like even before the school system, before the school year starts, hey, this is available. Hey, we'd like to do this with you. Then it's a little bit easier for them to kind of like be like, okay, this is the time I want to do this. This is a great time to do this. This unit works best for that. So I think that that's going to be an important element. Already when I talked to the teacher's name is Dylan, he was saying like, yeah, that would be great. I think it'd be wonderful for next year. So I'm like, if we could start talking to them, what is it now? February? Right? It's almost February.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
almost, yes, it is the last Saturday of January.
But yeah, if we can start talking to everyone about it now, getting them on board now, that way they have those 3-4 months before the end of the summer. That way they already know, they're already thinking about it. It's in their mind. And that way in August when school starts, bam, like we already have them set up for like a time slot almost for, hey, this is when you're going to use Storypal. So I think that would be important.
What do you think, Jeff, Anastasia?
I really like the idea of holding some kind of like just discussion or even professional development for teachers during the summer to like gather and brainstorm and learn from one another. That's truly like global, and that helps in setting the agenda for the year that like involves Storypal. Um, I'm just thinking about the timing and that, teachers also, I mean, they do things during the summer like work and travel. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think like a discussion during the summer, when, the agenda is being set for the next school year is really good, or maybe even something during fourth quarter. I mean, not right at the end of fourth quarter because that gets hectic, but like during fourth quarter, so that it's kind of in people's minds, and then like this can be set for some time during the summer. I think this kind of thing is going to happen with conversations, like conversations like this one, not like a email exchange.
Hmm. Then should it be something like where maybe people like Jeff, like these project ideas, like teachers maybe share, and then it's a opportunity where maybe other teachers can join, or should it be about us telling how they can use Storypal technically? Yes. Yes, I see the hand.
Sorry, we're teachers. So.
Yes,
It's
I saw it.
I just had an idea based off of what Jeff said, and I don't know if it's plausible at all. Jeff, wherever, or Anastasia, wherever you guys teach, do teachers have to get like certain teaching, like extra teaching education, like further education credits?
To be honest, I'm not a teacher. I don't teach.
Oh, okay.
She's
So I
a
am a um yeah, I'm a teacher, and I'll say like I teach in a international school in Jerusalem, an American international school. So they like want teacher certification for teachers to be at the school, and usually that means some kind of like foreign teacher certification, um, and really like in an English speaking country. Um, but yeah, I mean, it works a little bit differently in like Israeli schools. And I was like for the last year, I was in Israeli schools doing a teaching fellowship. And I'm certified in the US, and I'm not certified in Israel.
Okay. Because I'm just wondering, I know that teachers here in the US, they have to do like further education credits to keep their certification. So I almost wonder if it's even possible for Storypal to kind of look into how to get something like that on like global communication or ambassadorship, like a credit. And that way you kind of like bring in teachers, and that way you're kind of facilitating a credit for them that they have to get. And therefore you can like bring in teachers to get the credit, but then it facilitates like our conversation, like Jeff was saying, like, hey, you're not just here, you don't feel like, like, oh, it's the summertime, or oh, it's fourth quarter and teachers are like, well, I'm busy. But if it's for like an education credit towards their certification, then it could be like, well, this is a really good thing for us to do. And then if you can hold it as like, and even for international teachers, like, oh, well, this is going to give me like, a certificate at the end of it, saying that I went through this like ambassadorship, like international ambassadorship, like training. That might be something interesting to look into.
In Korea, we actually did register like a certification system. And so we can give certification, well, that is private certification that is registered under the Korean government. but I don't think, I'm not sure if that is considered as a credit. So I think Stumble, I think this is something that like has to be like US independent content, I guess, because it's maybe, but we could use the content that we had developed, like we can review, and then if we can reuse some of them. So you're muted.
Sorry, I said yes, I agree. I think that's something that I can work on and look into.
Yeah, if we can really do that, then I think maybe like it might be really a good platform for people like Jeff can influence more. And basically, Jeff would be, I guess, the speaker and teachers can listen as part of their credit. Right? As a, we call them Sunday in Korean, the senior, like the people who have done it before. I guess senior is, there's in English, there's also a word senior. Yeah. Okay, so we'll try that. And I think there's so much more to discuss, but I think we have to respect people's time. So we will, it feels like it's so abrupt to cut it here, but let's continue our discussion, and I will update, keep you guys updated individually. We'll talk, and Sumbo and I will look into these, the idea Eleni gave, idea that you gave. And actually, I didn't get to share like the ideas that we were thinking about, and I guess I can try to do it in 2 minutes, maybe. Like, so we're thinking about like going back to how we felt like we were able to help students dream bigger, but then like they still faced these broken English, which seems like it doesn't matter because of ChatGPT, but in reality, it actually still does. And like the financial limits, like Ethiopian students have to take TOEFL to apply for universities. Even though Anastasia, you said like university seems like it doesn't matter, but students still want to go because of the traveling, meeting new people, and not necessary for the maybe skills. And so we thought, what if we could sort of, it could be with the blockchain, but it could be without the blockchain, but just a system where we could use, gather some scholarship and use it and combine that with like a bank's interest system, and organize it so that like the learning thing, the things that the teaching is always organized, like weekly targets, and then final target and consecutive weekly commitments and these things. So every week, like they would get the like reward similar to the interest as bank, for that, I guess, scholarship collateral or something like that. And then if they complete like that task, then depending on the feasibility, we could give all or part of scholarship, or we just keep scholarship and the next person can do it or something like that. And so we sort of thought about it, and even though we really were so against these tasks, but we do see like, oh, these tasks are still here and they're like not disappearing, even no matter how we hate them. So annoying. So we're like, okay, like if we can't avoid it, you have to enjoy it. So like we were like, okay, like how can we enjoy this? And some idea like that. And then that also we were thinking, but if that type of system is available, then, and if that that framework of creating the teaching material is available for the teachers or whoever is able to teach something, then like nowadays there are a lot of niche learning contents on like Coursera, and in Korea it's huge market, like class 101, like people just teaching random things like how to make money with blogs or something like this. And there's huge market for this, but I somehow, got to learn how like the African, there are some African social like people who are it's a discussion on how to teach like native language of the local language to the African descent students in America or Canada or something like this. And there was some demand for this, and they were saying like they're setting up mentors, mentees for this. And so there's sort of like a niche content that is there, and it could also, we could, if somehow this model also brings those things out, then we could contribute to the diversity again. So that was sort of what we were just thinking about, but we haven't really done anything on this. But so I wanted to share this, but then I guess we sort of ran out of time. So maybe next month maybe by then, maybe we will have more to discuss. But I think if not, we can just discuss about it. Yeah. Okay. So I guess this was a small like way to get you guys come again next month. Unintentionally, I did that. Yeah. Okay. All right, then. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm kind of sad that Ms. Dava and could not come, but it's okay. I think in the next month or something, I think the Korean teacher who's been using it a long time would join also one time at least before her school starts. So yeah, we'll try get more people. But yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Yuan. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day. See you again.
See you.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Eleni. Eleni, how are you? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Good. I'm so sorry I've been away. It's so
No,
good to
I heard,
see
I mean,
you.
I heard from Sambul what was up with you, like getting a new job and moving and everything. So a lot of changes, right?
So many.
Yeah,
It's
but
been
you
a lot.
look good. Yeah.
Thank
I know, I told her
you.
the same thing. I told her the
Huh?
same thing. We
Oh,
both said you look good.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love your hair. It's growing so much. Are you growing it out now?
Yeah, I'm trying to growing it out. I did grow it, last time, and then people said I look better in short hair. So I cut it, but then it became so short, and then I was so stressed. And then
Oh.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna try grow it. But then now again, whenever it comes to this length, I start to, agree with them, saying, yeah, I do look better with short hair. I'm becoming uglier and uglier as the hair grows.
No, absolutely not. You're so cute.
But I'm trying to grow it out. So I mean, like
Yeah,
you.
there's always, oh wow, okay. I
Yeah.
think you can get there. Yeah, give it a year and yeah, it'll
I
be
think I
good.
need like
Oh,
maybe
hair
2
grows
years.
fast. Yua's hair grows
Huh?
really fast. I've seen it like at all lengths. And she
Yeah.
looks
Yeah,
good at all hair lengths. Yeah.
I know
I-
last August I was here.
wow,
Yeah.
see? So your hair grows really fast. So you're
Yeah.
gonna take less than my hair grows pretty slow. So it took a while to get here. But I understand. So one time I had like this pixie cut
Mhm.
that was really it was actually about the same length as you have it now. I had my hair like that.
Mm.
And it got to a certain length and I was just like, what am I gonna do? Do I cut it again or I let it grow? Oh, it's like you have to make it past that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eleni, we had a lot of things going on our side too. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I
It
know.
was a
What's going on with
drama.
you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We even closed, I mean, we like deleted the license too.
No
Like
way.
pay off report like closing, and then but not because like we were gonna shut down the website and app at the moment at least, and we were trying to move it to America, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we were trying to do that, but then But then like in America, we decided we should register as MPO in America. So even though our like corporation number was out, we
Mhm.
have to go through this new MPO process to change it, right, Sumbo? Like change that thing to that. And then in America, in Korea, like I think you know, right? Like we had the pre-social enterprise status,
Mhm.
have, and so like that department called and then said, oh, but when you got certified, you had agreed that you will not, like you can't close it for at least a year. And then and then so so I was like, so what's gonna happen? And like so I asked, like, so they're gonna ask me to give back all the
Real.
grant, like and so I mean, they were like, probably not, but like it's possible. And she was like, and I was just like, but I felt more like it would be really kind of okay if, but then I'm not sure. So I was like, okay, I will check with the and then they have this system where if you close, then you can revive it within 3 months or something.
So
I
you
guess these
revived
things
it?
happened before to a lot of people. So they had this system already implemented. So we were revived. Yeah.
Wow,
We
that
were
is.
dead and we were dead.
Hey, that's okay. You know what it is? It's like Storypal is like a phoenix. It needed a rebirth. You know, you needed to let it die for a moment, and now it's reborn. So phase two. Phase two.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then we not fired in like bad term, but we sort of let go of the Sri Lankan developer, and then Ian, who we originally said that we will work for a certain time if we don't get the grant. So we didn't get the grant last year. So that was like already sort of discussed. And but I think for him it was still like, for us, I mean, it's
It's
nice
hard.
when things work out in a positive way, but even though we discuss, if things don't work out the way we want it, then it's not. So,
It's nice
but
that you discussed that ahead of time, though, because all of you were prepared.
yeah, I definitely discussed a lot about it with him. So yeah, it wasn't yeah. And then Sumbul and I, like internally, we had a lot of discussion about like, is it really needed? Like, is Storypal really needed? Like, is it really worth our, thing? And so we sort of decided, okay, there's something to it, but we will sort of limit or kind of make Storypal like 20% or even 2% of our total energy or output. Like not necessarily based on the current term, but I mean, both ways, we will make more output. So it becomes only 20%. Yeah. And also practically we will be cautious so that it doesn't take over, our life and stress us too much. And so
I
that's
think that
one thing. Yeah. And then the second was like, if we do continue, like I had difficulty continuing with the just what it was before, which is to help students, just get connected and make friends. Like this became not enough for me. It's good, but compared to our, in a way, like input, it seems like the value that is created or grabbed by the world is not as much. So we started like asking then, how do we become like a must-have product instead of nice to have product. And
Mm.
because at the end of the day, we without saying, like, someone can see, I can see, like, we care about education, even though we don't like, I mean, or at least I don't like education, like, in a way, like,
No,
it's like,
I understand.
it's like, but education, but then, like, the things that we're talking about is like
All education.
education related, and like, oh, the student, blah blah blah, and so so annoying.
Wow.
But yeah,
It's like
so
a
I guess
necessary
yeah, but at the same time, like, now it doesn't even have to be really just like limited to the student. So I guess just education in general is what we want to, I guess, think really hard about and make something that is a must or really game-changing thing. Like, Storypal in a way is game-changing if it really works, but then there's this market fit situation where this market that it fits is not really game-changing market, if you like, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it
I
does, but yeah, soft, very soft.
I agree with you. Like I was telling Sumbo, I agree with you 100% what you're saying. I think like to me, Storypal, and the reason why certain people, you know, Dava and Minji and I invest our time, you know, our free time into Storypal, like I'm still trying to find people for Storypal, is because we see something so beautiful, you know, like Storypal has so much merit and like we believe in what you're selling, you know. But I think that, like I was telling someone, I think right now Storypal is like a beautiful piece of marble, and we have to find the niche that it needs to be carved into in order for it to like really, you know, really make its mark, because you have something incredible. Like what you're doing is incredible, but like what you said, to make it something that is a must, like a need in the classrooms or with teachers, is like that's what we should aim for. But I mean, like I would not invest my personal time in talking about Storypal or telling people about Storypal or trying to find you guys schools if it wasn't something that I didn't truly believe in. Like you guys have something really great, but I do understand, like I'm sure you guys can feel burnt out, you know, and I'm glad that you guys are just taking some time, because even, you know, some of the greatest inventions and invention, you know, sometimes you have to step away for a while, and while you step away and you live life, like you're inspired by something, so when you come back to it, it's like even better than before. But you, yeah, if you're burnt out, like yeah, you just need to take some time away, like you said, just take a breather, because I think when you come back to it, it's going to be that much better because you're refocused, re-energized. So I'm glad that, I mean, it's hard to hear, but I'm so happy that you're taking that time. And, you know, maybe this is a little bit of the change Storypal needs to kind of refocus itself. Like you were saying, like, you're like, well, we offered this, but we really need to change our view. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
And also, like, I think I was trying to just like, you know, make it work, like make it work as a business, but
Mhm.
but like it's really not really a like yeah, it's not, it is it's more of a cause. And
Mhm.
um but whether it's business or cause, whatever it is, like it needs some like a pioneer, like a someone who is keep feeding it, right?
Mm.
So I think, yeah, so I need to do that. And I think I was worried, you know, like like maybe I'm not good at business, like I am not, like whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, but I'm like, okay, like I should just, not care about that. And and also just, like having conversation about and really going through, should we really close the server, kill the server, stop, done, and then still like being here, that really showed, I guess, it's cheesy, but like not even cheesy, but like I don't know, it's we yeah, and that enables, I think, more freedom to be just not care about, how are we gonna hire, how are we gonna compensate this person or whatever, but we're just now like, okay, if you care about this, work with us, like help us build it or help us whatever we can. And so, and now, like I think we should have done this before, but like we shouldn't really try to like pay people when we don't really have money. And our well, we did get funding and so on. So I mean, everything that we have done, it was good because it got us where we are now. But it also gave created so much feelings and thoughts, and then initially those feelings and thoughts were very limiting. I mean,
Yeah.
encroaching, like making me more fearful, more worried, like more like feeling incompetent and scared and all of these things. But yeah, like going through the death and then coming back. Now it's like I don't care.
Yes.
Like, yeah, but I think it can be more fun that way, right? Like,
Yes. I
yeah,
think
it's like
I think you need to have fun with it. Storypal's, in my opinion, Storypal's something for fun, for collaboration, for creativity. And yeah, if it's like, if you're feeling the way that you were feeling, I think that that's gonna limit your ability to like pivot it. And I agree with you. I think honestly, I wouldn't, I mean, I'm on the outside looking in, but I would say that each of your steps are normal and they're good and they've taught you something and you've grown from them. You know what I mean? Like, and I think, like you were saying, like, I think you did need a developer at that moment. I think you did need help at that moment. I think that now going forward, maybe like you matured a little bit in your business savviness and like, you're like, okay, well, you know what? Now I need I'm scratching your back, you scratch mine, like mentality. Like, we're gonna help you, but we need something, so I'm really excited about, I
yeah,
mean, so sorry you had to go through all that emotional roller coaster that came with it, but where
can't
you're
wait till like Elon Musk or whoever creates that chip where we don't have to get through these and just chip it in and then everything's set.
hopefully that, I don't know. That might take
But
a
I'll
while.
keep my limbic system.
Yeah, keep your limit.
Yeah,
You don't want them controlling all of it.
right. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think it's beautiful. I'm still psyched about Storypal.
Yeah, and another thing is I think I feel sort of like pleasure and proudness
Yeah.
in coming up with ideas and sort of seeing that become materializing and things like that. So but I think maybe I've grown to realize, like for Storypal, because what we're trying to do is essentially just like empower the education, right? Empower the learners, empower the educators. And so I don't know the answer. Like, yeah, but yeah, sure. I still have ideas. Yeah, like that thing like that, but I can share, and then I have to sort of I have to try really hard to not be the prisoner of my idea and be too obsessed with
Ooh.
this idea or solutions, and just stay really focused on what we're trying to do, and then make that part more, I guess, that part to become more articulate, I guess. Okay, if we want to empower, how, like, do we really want to involve like financial part and publishing part and education together, and why, and these things, and then yeah, and then we'll just have to see. So I don't know the answer. No.
You know me, I always have ideas. Like I'm starting to have ideas, but I think I'll hold on to those. But
Yeah.
you know, I think it's interesting what you're saying. You know, I'm almost tempted. Well, let me just tell you what I just thought. I'm almost tempted to think if Storypal for a moment would not involve the students, but only involve connecting teachers internationally and letting it be a platform for teachers to kind of talk to one another and collaborate, because teachers have more, we have more enthusiasm, and we have, you know, we're more invested, we have more skin in the game, should I say. And so I wonder if Storypal would flourish in a sense, just if it was a platform for international teachers to get together and collaborate on things. And then if through that and teacher involvement, because technically if you wanted to monetize, you can't put ads out for students, but for teachers, if it was aimed solely at teachers, you could put ads on there and therefore bringing in some kind of monetization. And even you could you could do like affiliate marketing where like when you're blogging, perhaps it could be more about a international like collaboration with teachers, but then you could put like links to events like Chris English's Model UN and events coming up worldwide that people can get their kids involved with. And then you could also monetize it, the sense like you can have a blog talking about like new products that are good for teachers and things like that. And you have Storypal, you still have that space where people are connecting and pen paling with each other, but now it's more just for teachers to do that and collaborate with other teachers. And then perhaps like as the teachers collaborate with teachers, they can bring in their students, and you know, if they need a space for their students like through that collaboration to collaborate, then they can reach out and be like, hey, we need a space for our students to work together, and then Storypal can facilitate that space. But if it's not, you know, in a different kind of page, so that way that page doesn't have the ads and stuff, but the main page just for teachers has the ad, because as you see, we're involved, we call, we talk to you, and like I would love to like talk to Minji teacher and things like that. So it just kind of just sparked when you were talking, but it would be interesting to see if it morphed into more like a teachers collaborating with teachers.
Yeah.
Just
We
like,
always talk with teachers.
yeah. And like teachers are involved, and like students, they're only involved for a season, but teachers are forever. Because you're going to have a group of students come and a group of students go.
Yeah.
But the teachers are going to stay year to year to year to year.
Yeah. But sometimes, you know, this may sound harsh, but sometimes I do wonder, you know, like how the Ford made the horseless cars. So I wonder if we're going to have teacherless like learning environment.
Wait, repeat that last part.
Like Ford made the horseless cars, and
Uh-huh.
now Elon Musk's making like driverless cars. And
Mm,
education wise, like I wonder if, it's not quite the same, but it could be like horse can be analogy for like teacher in the
mm,
education system.
I agree with
Because
that.
sort of like education system always sort of had to have the teachers because
Mhm.
they didn't like it's analog, like it's a physical, like the
Right.
horsepower carrying the carriage, like the teacher power carrying the students. um yeah, but with like digitization and like personalized learning and even like ChatGPT, like yeah, it's a different scenario, but if we look at how things are developing, like they're now making robots, right? And
Mm,
so the robots um integrating with the ChatGPT, like that would become a physical looking teacher.
right.
And so yeah.
Mhm. I don't know how that, I mean, I think that you're right in some places that that's kind of the way things are going. But as far as like classroom management and stuff like that, like as long as we have classrooms, there's going to be teachers because there's no way that a robot can keep the kids in line. You imagine that robot would be so destroyed in the right class. Like, please sit down. I can't imagine the chaos that would happen. But you're right. As far as like online, sorry.
I'm
As far
sorry, like
as
I
online,
understand, yeah, because I also went through the like second graders. I remember because I was teacher for some time, a very short period, and then like this
you're
kid would
like,
be like, "Teacher, I'm bleeding.
yeah. What would they do?
Go to bathroom." Clean it. Right.
You imagine a robot? Oh no, you are bleeding.
Oh. Huh?
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
way.
they don't have limbic system.
Yeah, they
No,
can't
the
relate.
chaos, huh?
They can't relate.
Robots don't have limbic system or blood circulation,
No,
but
the
they could
chaos
know
that,
conceptually. Yeah.
no, even that, I don't think the computer could deal with the chaos in a classroom because there
Mm,
really is so much going on in a classroom.
mm,
This kid's picking his nose and eating it. This one over here is trying to cheat. The one in the back is like kicking the other one's chair. The one in the
mm.
front is trying to learn. No, it's just too chaotic. Like this
Yeah,
chaos.
right.
But as far as you're right, and I think that at some point, yeah, you're right that it may be more autonomous learning, especially with like online trends. But I mean, it could be like a start, and then as it's starting and as it's gathering, then you can kind of like think about the future as it comes or like prepare for it while it's doing well. You know what I mean? So like you were saying, like you didn't know Storypal was going to take this turn, and yet you prepared for it before it happens by being like, hey, if this grant doesn't go through, we have to let you go. So while you were going through the motions, you prepared for the future just in case. Well, I think like while you're going through the motions of preparing Storypal, you can think about, you can have that autonomous learning and how can Storypal stay relevant in a more autonomous environment in your mind. But also the nice thing about seeing like teachers collaborate with teachers is you guys can take ideas. Like teachers steal from teachers all the time. And as you're seeing what they're needing, then you're like, oh, see, they keep needing worksheets. Well, then guess what? Like as you're sneaking into their conversations and you see that there's a need for them to have worksheets, there's a need for them to have this, then you just start supplying those things on your website. Like, hey, here's a page for worksheets for people, online worksheets that are printable for people to go through. Um, And like if you see that they're needing certain PDFs for things, oh, you make the PDF, make life easy for them, you know? Like,
I guess creativity is always gonna stay, and people always want something new.
yeah,
Right?
it's
Yeah. Style changes and so
and I
on.
think
So
Storypal is nice. And I think you're right. I think it was smart of you. And I know it must have been really hard, but not to pigeonhole Storypal, because things that get pigeonholed as like one thing, they tend to die faster than if something can mold and breathe and like transform. Because if you can transform, then you're able to adapt to changes better. Whereas if you're
yeah.
just like, this is what it is, this is what we're keeping it as, it's hard for it to grow with times and needs and things like that. So that must have been really hard though. I
Yeah, but
can't.
doing this is less harder than sticking, because we could not function like
Yeah.
we're like, because we could not, kill it, but
Mm,
we wanted to continue, but then we were like, but our direction is what's end of this route,
right.
so we okay, we connect all more students, and then there's like some lukewarm or more interesting connections. Yeah, these connections are great, but because yeah, like, because even though I did see like students who were in this path who could benefit Storypal more, yeah, did benefit more. And
Mhm.
the students who benefited, like they benefited, but like I said, maybe you weren't there, but like
Mm,
English problem, money problem, like resource problem, these are still there.
right.
Still there. So technically, maybe it's not something that we should worry about if really our ultimate mission and goal is to just connect students, and that is the biggest goal. But
Mm.
I think, so what do you think? Like, I feel like if we say this, then I feel like I'll be like lying, like just reciting because that's what we've been saying.
Sorry, can you
What-
say that one more time?
I was saying, like, if like connecting students for global friendships and like citizenship, like this is like friendship is, if we say, yeah, we're doing this to connect students, saying like, I feel like I won't feel authentic now,
Right.
because that doesn't feel enough.
Mm,
And in our mission statement, it did have like not just friendship, but the ability to think, aware, and like engage globally.
mhm,
But the way like the service and the product developed so far, it only really focuses on like that friend, like pen pal aspect. And then there's like lounge, but it is not really um it's not empowering. I don't think it's that much. It is empowering for some students, but like, so it doesn't mean that it should be gone, but it's just like kind of not enough.
mm.
Like,
It can morph. Like I like the lounge. Like I loved going in and reading like the different lounge cards. And some of my students actually, they loved reading other people's lounge cards as well, and they learned a lot of things.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, me too. I like reading them.
yeah, I do. I do. I love reading them, and I thought it
Yeah,
was really nice because the students, like my students, they liked going in and seeing that something that they created,
yeah,
people commented on. They were like, "Oh,"
right.
they were like, "Ma'am, someone commented on our lounge card." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
cool. What did they comment?" So like, I
yeah,
think you're right. That kind of, but could it
It's a
evolve? Yeah, I think it can.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't
It's a good
like you.
place to nerd out.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I think like what you were saying, like I think stressing about it and wondering about it is probably not healthy.
Mm.
Just organically see that, like sometimes, and I can say this again because I'm not personally involved, but sometimes it's nice to just sit back
You
and
are
like,
involved.
well, you know what I mean though,
Mhm.
like I am involved, but
Yes.
like time and effort and energy you and Sambal put in, I cannot even begin to compare, but sometimes it's nice to just sit back and listen to people as they speak, because then you find out what they need. And I think
Right.
that then you'll be able to see what you can add to it versus like
Mhm.
you being like, well, this is what you need. Well, it
Yeah.
might not. Like a lot of YouTube people, like my cousin is a content creator.
Ooh.
I was asking her like, oh, how does that work? How did you do that? So like on Instagram and on YouTube, she says, I just put out a bunch of different kinds of videos and a bunch of different
Mhm.
kinds of, and then I see which ones people comment more on, which they tend to
Mhm.
like more, which they tend to, want more of. And she's like,
Mhm.
that's how I found like my niche area, because the things that they liked the most, well, then that's what I started to make the content about. And so I was
Mhm.
like, oh, so as far as like for Storypal, sit back and hear like what teachers need. And then once you
Mhm.
start hearing what teachers need, then you develop, then you can evolve rather than, trying to anticipate what they might need, like see what they actually need. That way you can like fit it in, you know what I mean?
Mm.
That way, instead of like changing the lounge part and making yourself stressed about it, give yourself some
Right.
space to sit back and look at it and then be like, oh, I keep hearing this come up. Maybe we can work on something for that. And that I think will give you less stress.
Mm.
Just a thought.
Yeah. 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 That's why we're having these happy hours,
I
Yeah.
love it. But we need some
Yeah.
drink. We need like a soda or something to drink.
I actually like, oh, I should have thought about that. Happy hour means drinking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling students we're gonna have happy hour.
That's
Well,
hilarious.
I love
Yeah.
that.
But
Okay.
I mean, they didn't register that word for. It
No,
can have
American.
dual meanings. We can be literal happy hours.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
a happy hour.
Yeah. I guess Maggie couldn't join, but it's sort of like happy hours was inspired by Maggie. Although I think she didn't intend this way. She meant like happy hour between like the members, like
Uh,
team members. But
Yeah.
um, but like at that time we are thinking about how can we sort of continue on. I mean, some communication, some promotion, some connection with the users, and then we felt like with everything happening, like this happy hour as we're trying now, like once a month, like last Saturday, fixed time,
mm,
like, and sort of anybody can come, teacher, student, parent, whoever, and even non-teacher who is relevant,
mhm.
then come. And then we don't really have structure for what conversation, but it's just like catching up. And then but I think last time, what's her name, Christina, like teacher from Uganda, did say that, oh no, Russian student, the Jeff student did say for the first comer, like, oh, we have
Newcomer.
somebody, who's this at this time, who's this,
Oh,
hello.
it looks like Java.
Huh?
Oh, that looked like Gustavo.
It was
It might have
Gustavo.
been. Yeah,
Oh,
that looks like the
I don't know. It was in
Mongolian.
Russian, so I
it
assume.
looked like Russian.
Right.
Okay, well,
Oh,
interesting. because this link is sort of public. I don't think it's public. But anyways, she did say like for the new people, it would be nice if we have like short explanation of what Storypal is and how people can use it. So I guess we should kind of prepare for it. And yeah, I mean, while these discussions are going on, yes, the food are on the ground and the Korean schools are gonna start. And like this one Korean teacher called and she was just like, "Mm, I think students didn't get to really use the platform much, but they liked the native speaker teacher coming. So can I book 2 this year?" So I
Nice.
don't know if she's gonna even use Storypal, but I guess I will just have to include that part in. But I'm like, at this point, I don't care if you just want native teacher. Okay, I'll send native teacher and
Yeah.
just tell me what your students need. And but I guess I do have to incorporate Storypal. But that's sort of what's also going on is, yeah. But I think you have point. We should be observing of how teachers are saying, what teachers come back to us for what, and then get hints from it. And yeah, that's
They'll teachers will tell you what they need, and um usually it's hard to incorporate. How can I put this? You guys know in the classroom sometimes it's hard to incorporate something that like fits something different into it, but if we can take
yeah.
what we're already doing and integrate it to what's going on, then it's very
Mm.
helpful. But to
Mm.
actually bring in a whole entire new thing, that's why a lot of teachers are like, oh, next year this would be good. Next year this would be good, because they're like thinking, I have to bring in this whole entire new project, I have to facilitate this new thing.
Mhm. Like this
Whereas
policy would be good in Mars.
yes, exactly. And so I think like if it can fit what their curriculum's already doing, and they can just be like, oh, I just need this right now, then it's a little bit easier for them to kind of bring in. Which I'll talk to the friend here, and I'll talk to my my old coworkers in Washington and
Mhm.
see. But I
Yeah.
really believe in Storypal.
Yeah, we should really find out what's really stopping them from using Storypal first place and then continue using it. So yeah, if you could help us find these,
Yeah.
investigate what's the bottlenecks as it is now. If this
Yeah.
concept is good, then what's the bottleneck? Yeah.
Mm.
Because there's some students and teachers who keep using it, keep uploading regularly, sort of time to time upload the yeah, launch card. And have you seen the latest launch card by the Ethiopian student?
No, let me
No,
check it
right?
out.
And that one was for me very interesting because she was promoting the krill coupon, the Ethiopian food coupon
Mm.
we're like as a test got from the
Mhm.
Ethiopian restaurant in Seoul. And
Cool.
I mean, I told her about it, that her
Uh-huh.
pen pal could taste the Ethiopian food by getting the coupon with the krill. So, and then
Oh.
so I think, and we even added like a feature to gift krill to the pen pal.
Mhm.
So the Ethiopian student actually sent the krill, the amount that is needed to buy the coupon,
Oh
and
no.
told the Korean pen pal that you can get this with this krill, and sent the link to the coupon. And then so she did that in like for her personal pen pal, and then she brought it to the lounge, and then she like shared with everybody, like whoever is interested in Ethiopia, and if you're in Seoul, like Korea, you can go and taste it here. And
That's so
she added the link. And that felt a bit like empowering, even though so far no one really reacted to it. But and so is it because this is like students? Should we just like open it up to adults? Like adults would have really liked it, I feel like.
Yeah, but that's like that's the
I
thing.
think
You know,
the teacher to teacher thing, they would have loved it.
Oh yeah, teachers would have loved it. Yeah.
It would have been like the perfect
So
market.
I'm
right, but
saying
then
I think
teachers, yeah, but then
maybe
teachers
going.
don't.
Uh-huh.
What teachers like? But then teachers don't really have time or are interested in like pen pals, right? With other teachers, they just want to have some ways to reduce work or do the work better
Yeah.
or do
Well,
something fun.
I think it depends on what teachers you're talking about. Um, yeah, because like for me, I'd love to, you know, reach out to teachers. Um, and I think it just depends. There's certain teachers. I mean, yes, in the end, like all of us, we just want to reduce our workload and things, but how can I put this? That's why I think it would be cool to connect teachers, and then you can have like a teachers lounge of like teacher tips, or you know, like maybe like a teacher help area, like, hey, what have you found to reduce like your, you know, like a teacher help area, like, because one of the things that I hated about my last school is that nobody ever collaborated, nobody ever talked to each other, like people, like when it came down to grading time, um I was trying to do this on Microsoft Word, and I was struggling a lot because I was writing out my things. And then like my friend's like, what's taking you so long? And then I go to the website, or no, I go and I take her and I showed her my worksheet on Microsoft, and she's like, oh, it's because you're not doing this. And she's like, why weren't you doing that? I'm like, well, nobody sat down with me and taught me how to do this, you know, like, so how am I supposed to know? And I think like lots of teachers know how to do things, and you don't and like unless you're in a very collaborative school, you don't share. And so like so many people are having to go back and learn the same things that other people could have learned, you know?
Or
And it's
some
like
things that like some hacks that some teachers have cracked.
exactly hacks that they've cracked, websites they use, like even like worksheets that work for them and stuff. And it's
Oh,
like,
maybe like we need the something like a stack overflow for teachers.
what's that?
Oh, Stack Overflow is where all the developers go to get the answers, and it's super highly curated
Oh,
in a way that they don't like repeat questions, and
right.
they like have to upvote or downvote and say something is solved or not. Yeah, and so it's like highly curated, and you can really find any development problems there.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
for
like,
me.
you know,
I guess.
Mhm.
Just
No,
yeah, for teachers. I was just saying just for teacher solutions.
yeah. And
Stack
again, like,
Overflow for teachers.
and I mean, like, you just mentioned certain things that teachers need. So if you would work on a way, like, how can we help teachers by doing this? Like, so you said that they want a way to like make their job easier, or, you know, like streamline. Okay, well, think of ways that like, how can I help a teacher? Like when you guys helped me keep track of all the students on your website that were like doing the letters, and then like you pinned like who did what. Oh my gosh, that saved me so much time. So it was so amazing because I didn't have to go in there and check, okay, this person wrote this and this person wrote that and this. No, I could just go to my Excel sheet, see who did it, see who didn't, and then like write like that. Like, so just think about like, okay, what are ways that we can make teachers' lives easier? What are ways that we can like facilitate something. And you're right, like teachers would eat up that Ethiopian thing. Like that's amazing. Problem I'm seeing with students is that we're too busy. Like students are too busy. They have Instagram, they have Snapchat, they have TikTok, and they're trying to stay relevant on everything. That I think like it, like you were saying, just Storypal has to become one of those things that they're like that's relevant for them. But I think as far as for teachers, like you have I don't know. The more I think about it,
Oh,
I think
Sansar is here. Hello, Sansar?
hi.
Hello.
Hello? Sansar, you're kind of late. Hello?
Are you there?
This is Sansar, can you hear us? You're muted.
Hi.
I
Oh.
I'm sorry for being late.
It's okay. If you would have not found us normally because we end in an hour, but today we were just having a sort of, what is it? A casual conversation. Well, happy hour is casual, but we were having catch up because Eleni is a teacher that we know as friends. So anyways, welcome. And we can talk a bit, I guess. Do you have video on? I mean, can you put on video?
Oh yeah.
So Eleni, this is Sansar. He is from Mongolia. He's been sort of the most, I think, active Mongolian student on Storypal. He has created a lot of launch cards and hi Sansar, long time no see.
Yes, we long time no see since I anyway.
Sansar, are
so
you? Oh, sorry.
no. Go ahead.
Sansar, are you one of the students that went with Miss
Miss Dava.
Dava to Manado?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was student I think last year, but I'm not now because there was a little bit
It's okay. Take your time. Yeah, I think I remember meeting you in Indonesia. Were you in Indonesia?
no.
Oh, you didn't go on that trip? Okay. It might have been someone else. Yeah, when Miss Dava brought some students to Manado, Indonesia, I got to meet a group, but you looked familiar, but sorry. It's
Yeah,
nice
I
to
heard
meet
about
you.
it. Yeah, I'm too.
So we were talking about Storypal. And our today, happy hour is kind of casual conversation. So whichever topic or question we sort of like come up, then we talk about it. And today, the topic that we sort of discussed was how can Storypal become more helpful for the teachers and students. Well, okay, like it doesn't even have to be teachers and students specifically, but for the education in general, how can it be something that the education like impactful thing and not just a nice to have service or nice to have product. And so I guess it would be interesting to hear from a student perspective because we were all like everyone else was teacher. Like we had 2 more teachers who were here, but they left. Yeah.
So the big question we asked today is Storypal right now is something nice, people can use it, but how can we become something that people need? How can it be something that students need? Do you have any ideas?
I think currently I don't have any idea about that, but maybe actually day by day I will have any idea about that. So maybe next time I hope I will have something special idea about that.
Yeah, take time to think about it. That's what we were just thinking about.
Sansar, can I ask a question?
You
Go
were
ahead,
saying
Eleni.
if you can ask a question, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Sansar, since this is the first time I meet you, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like what grade are you in and like what your favorite subject is and stuff?
Yeah. My name is Sansarat and I'm from Mongolia, and so 12th grade student now in here, and so actually I have studied in two schools, like in online and in the real attendance or like this. So here is study Laboratory First High School, and for online, and I'm study Wichita State University, which is located in USA. So that is it. About my favorite subject, I like all of my school subject, but especially I like English and information technology, and that is all, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
And Sansar, you've been doing a lot of activities, right? Like the UN and these things. So why are you doing these things? You're muted. Your mic is, yeah.
I'm sorry. And maybe first time I thought that I was just do it for myself, but that was not for real reason is I am currently I am a youth of Mongolia, and so I have to develop my country, and so if that is so fashion describe in English, so I'm sorry. I
No, it's
can't
okay.
answer.
You're doing great. So from what I'm understanding, your desire for all the things you're doing is to further develop Mongolia, right? That's a really good goal.
Yeah.
In what ways do you want to develop Mongolia?
Why do you want to develop?
What ways? How?
Uh, for me, I wanna develop my countries like first, I wanna develop or AI.
You want to try using Google Translate? I guess there was a Korean movie called Victory Ship. I think I don't know what the English translation is, but there was a movie called Victory Ship, 승리호, and it's a futuristic story. And so they have like some automatic translation thing, and everybody speaks in their native language and everybody can communicate. So
Hopefully one day.
yeah, I think we're not that far now.
I've actually seen that movie. I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
It's
승리호 with the, yeah, because now the actor is famous again
Oh yeah.
with the recent drama.
Oh, what
Then
drama?
the youngest son of the rich man or something like that.
Hmm.
재벌집 막내 아들.
I'll have to check it out. Been needing a good drama. Yup.
It's actually fun. It's one of the few dramas that I happen to watch.
Well, that's high praise from you.
I mean, I
Yeah.
randomly watched because suddenly my parents like all were watching and they don't really watch drama, but it was that popular. Sansa ready? Yeah, try it.
Yeah, as a youth of my country, and firstly, I have to contribute to the country as much as I can. For example, the side of technology, and my future yeah, my future job is IT engineering, like web development and game development. And my big dream is in invent and big country network system, like communication system between the citizens, like they will be so they will be able to connect each just like about of the country's problems. I think
That's really cool that you want to connect like you want to connect the Mongolian citizens to be able to have a voice and talk about their country's problems and stuff. That's really awesome. I think it's really cool that you also want to do game development, because you can even develop a game that kind of starts people along that mindset, like an educational game. What kind of games would you want to develop?
I think interactive games like I don't know how much it's in English. So
Can you give me any examples of like games that exist? Like, would you want to do something like an app like Among Us, or like would you want to have a first person shooter, or would it be more educational? Like would it be like what is it, Call of Duty, or something more like um for education?
What kind of games are you playing right now? Do you play games?
yeah, but it's just educational and e-sport. So
Oh yeah, I remember you were playing the esports since the sort of beginning of for a long time, right? Yeah. I have another question. What what do you think Storypal like was or is in your life or as a student? Like, was it any help, or like you don't have to say nice thing just because I'm asking it, but like you can have like, I guess, honest answer. And yeah, what did it mean, or what was it for you?
I think science started using Storypal or started communicating with other international pimples, and that um helped my English writing skill and reading skill, for example, by um, writing letters to international friends as less developed, or yeah, developing my writing skill. But a lot of my people friends um, gave gave me their social platform address, like Instagram or what was the name? Kakao. I think
Kakao
that's
Talk, Kakao
yeah.
Talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they give to me. So mm I don't know. I can't remember his name, but I think she. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but he or she was so my extrovert person, like very um
Like you guys talked like actual friend? Is that what you're saying, or?
yeah, I'm connected by Instagram, like can't remember his name, but she is.
She has to go, but we will be here.
Yeah, so sorry, guys. I have to head out, but it was so good meeting you, Sansar. I really can't wait to speak with you again and hear your ideas. And Kiwa and Mel, I will talk to you later. Bye,
Yep,
guys.
talk to you later. Bye. Can you say that one more time? You were saying this person is what?
um, can't describe.
This makes me realize that on Storypal, we will have to add audio and video chat for sure
Yeah,
to improve
absolutely.
speaking.
Yeah.
For example, seeing a voice chat or video or files pictures. So
Agreed. So just to recap what you were saying, so on Storypal, you enjoyed it because you were able to make friends and write to people?
and that has helped me to improve my English skills, like writing and reading. That is
Mm.
Is it, I wanted to ask what you didn't like, is that okay? Was there something that you didn't like or something that you wanted but was not there?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think maybe we should really have the audio and video part. I think if we
Yeah.
had, then I think you can speak better English by now.
yeah, it really pushes you because you have your friend.
Yeah, I was thinking of which I realized, yeah, I should, and we should really do this because, yeah, my English really improved when I went to Geneva, which is not really English speaking area, but it's like French. But there were so many people coming in and out that I had to always introduce myself like 5 or 7 times every like some nights.
Just get
And that's when my English really improved. So Sansar, I think you came and then you gave us the biggest
Thank you, Sansar. Thank
thing
you.
that we have to do. Yeah, and I hope you stick around. And you're going to the university soon? When are you going to university? Next year or next year?
This year.
This year.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
When do you
Maybe
start?
coming spring or coming spring, and so maybe I will go to Korea,
Mhm.
especially Yonsei University. So that is my dream university. So
Mm. It's a good school, yeah. Why
Have
is
you
it your dream university?
I see this school in K-drama in first time, so like that school's environment is so adorable and looks so beautiful. So I decided to go to study there.
Ah, I see. But look for other ones too, because you want to have many like options.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you're interested in game development or these things, then Daejeon KAIST, it's kind of very top school, but KAIST is also known for the IT, and then there's also other like Pohang technology university and like Pohang Gongdae and other places. So keep your things open.
Good things.
Yeah. But to apply that, then you have to study like Korean.
Don't they have you take Korean when you move here though?
Yeah, they have that program, the government scholarship program, but now they're starting next year. They're giving extra credit for the people who already
know.
have taken the
Oh, that's
topic.
awesome.
Yeah. So, are you
Uh,
taking
since-
Korean classes?
No, I think I will have I will attend Korean language institute in Korea, like 1 year, 1 year or 2 year. Then after
Mhm.
that, I will study as a bachelor. Yeah.
Oh, I see, I see. Yeah. Stick around in the Storypal, I think, because now there are some students who are graduating. So, I mean, it's just matched by the age. So if there are similar age as you, then you can stay, I guess, keep connecting with some people in your age. And also, if you're coming to Korea, then you can use the Kro coupon for sure. You can go
Yeah.
to Ethiopian restaurant and Indian restaurant in Busan and Seoul. Yeah. So thank you for coming and joining us. Do you have any questions for us? Because we've been interviewing you because you're the only.
The only student.
Currently, I don't have,
Mhm.
but next time I will.
Okay, so
I would have many questions to ask.
yeah. So you can be prepared. So we're having it every Saturday, last Saturday of the month. So I guess your English will improve by joining this.
Yeah.
All right. Then we will, in Korea it is 12:28 a.m. So I'm sure in Mongolia it's also kind of late. So we will say goodbye, and I see that Sambo, your day is coming up, it's getting brighter and brighter. Yeah.
It is.
All right. Thank you, Sansar. Thank you, Sambo. Oh, Sansar, by the way, this is being recorded and we're going to upload on the YouTube. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Then I will upload it and then share the link. This is just for the record. I hope I didn't say anything that I will regret after like 5 years or something.
I don't know. You're fine.
I will think about my point about I want my limbic system.
Yeah.
But
Maybe in
anyways,
5 years you'll laugh at that or something.
yeah. But anyways, then we will say goodbye.
Sleep well. Bye.
Yeah.
Have a good
Bye
night.
bye.